Thank you for joining me today. My name is Scott Spencer. I'm the owner and founder of Dental Growth Solutions. And in a nutshell, we are a boutique dental marketing agency specifically designed to helping you generate patients for your practice in a very low-risk manner, in a very cost-effective manner. And if you're a dental professional out there today, and you've been struggling with finding that marketing solution that's going to help you generate patients in a consistent basis, in a very low risk and cost effective manner, set aside 15 minutes right now. I can guarantee you're going to find this extremely valuable, not only for you, but for your entire practice. So let me start today with a little bit of background about myself. Specifically, I've been in this industry, the dental industry, now for a total of 14 years. And it's been a great experience. You know, it's blessed me, it's blessed my family. I've been very fortunate, and I've enjoyed it tremendously. And at the same time, I've worked for two of the industry leaders in dental website marketing. And I've learned a ton. The great thing is I've really learned what works and what doesn't work in the dental industry. And with the large companies that I've been a part of, I've learned they have great resources, great content, great designs, lots of good tools, great platforms. At the same time, I've noticed some very significant limitations. And if you're working out there today, you may notice some of these same limitations too, depending on who you're working with. But what I've done here, and this has been such a great experience for me, that I wanted to give back to the dental industry. I wanted to have a solution that I could tailor here where the dentists, the dental professionals, would be the beneficiaries. And so that's exactly what I did here. I took what I've learned the last 14 years, and I have a solution with the great resources of these big companies, but the customization, the support, the micromanagement of a boutique, smaller company. So this leads to my next point. What makes my company unique? What makes it different? I can only think some of you dentists out there are saying, yeah, I get all these guys coming into my office, these dental marketing, I get all these emails. Let me be clear. The solution I have in place here is something very unique in this industry. And that's when I tailored this, I wanted to have my own niche. And so I'm going to talk about what makes my company unique. I'm going to skip right over here and start here. And first and foremost, this is boutique. For those of you who know that word, it means I have a regulated number of clients. It's a very small clientele base, but a very exclusive clientele base. And so what I've been able to do here is, if you're out there and you're saying, oh, I feel like I'm just a number, I make calls, I don't get any calls back, there's no support. What I've done here is I've limited my clientele so I can give each client the kind of personal attention they need and they deserve. And what I mean by that is ongoing support, micromanagement, customized, and on and on. And so that's very, very important to understand with my company. Secondly, it's exclusive. If you've ever worked with many of these large companies, you know they're marketing 5, 10, 15 clients in the same market sometimes. And if you think that works with Google and you think that works with marketing, it does not work. You need to be on a unique platform with a unique strategy. And so what I do is I only take on one client per market. So when I market a client, you're the only one I'm marketing in that target market. So it assures you that you're going to have a unique approach and it's going to be more effective in the searches. And that's very, very important with marketing. So the third area, perhaps the most important area that makes my company unique, makes it different, is I use a unique customized marketing strategy for each client. And I can't tell you how many times, working with large companies before, I know how they work, and most of these companies that have been contacting you dentists out there, it's the same approach. Get as many clients as you can, use the same approach. It's robotic, it's systematic, it does not work. And be very clear, that will not work. In today's market, where it's ultra competitive, not only do you have to be exclusive in your market, but it has to have a customized approach. And with me, that's exactly what you're getting. When I do a blog post, it's not a recirculated blog post. When you get a social media post, it's not recirculated. It's customized for your niche and your target market. So what you're getting with me, and this is a benefit of a boutique company, is that you're getting a unique approach with unique content, and the resources I use, whether it's social media or link building, whatever, it's tailored for what you need to dominate your target market. And that is very, very important in today's competitive environment. The fourth area, economical, low risk. For most of you dentists out there, I know this is a huge priority. I think most dentists today understand the importance of marketing online and generating patients through web marketing. The challenge is, how do you find a low-risk, economical solution? You found it, Doc. You're looking at, this is a solution that is going to allow you to address and enhance your web presence without exposing significant financial risk. First and foremost, there's no setup fee. If you know most companies out there, it's very time intensive up front. They want to charge you a setup fee. Who wants to pay overhead when you don't have any return? So naturally, I have no setup fee at all. Secondly, no contract. If you've been contacted by a marketing company, you know that 9 out of 10 of those companies, the first thing they want to do is lock you in with a long-term binding contract. Who wants to be locked into a contract when you've never worked with this company? So with me, I earn your business. Month after month, subscription-based agreements, very low risk, and if it's not working for you, it's not working for me, doctor. So the idea is to make it mutually beneficial, to have a solution where if it's not working for you, you can transition a different direction, cancel without penalty. And so again, very, very important part of my solution. Fifth and finally, existing sites. I work with existing websites. So when you look at my clientele, understand that I'm typically, 9 out of 10 doctors, I'm working with existing websites. So you don't have to go out there and spend time and money wasting all these resources developing a whole new website when you already have a professional website. In 2017, the vast majority of dentists have professional websites. They have good platforms. The problem is the sites are stale. They're static. They're invisible. What I do is I take that site and I turn it into a dynamic, patient-generating tool. It's very engaging, and again, I use a number of resources, but again, it makes me quite different than all these other companies that want you to start over with a new website. So again, it's going to save you time, money, and do it in a very low-risk manner. So now that you know what makes my company unique and different, I want to talk a little bit about what is the core focus of my solution, what services I actually provide. And so when you look at my services, I want to start by saying I'm a comprehensive dental web provider. So I basically offer all types of services. I can help you redesign your website. I can help you do Google AdWords. I can help you with direct marketing, hard print ads. The reality is, most of that stuff is just throwing your money down the drain. In this day and age, there's a few services, and I found this over 14 years of experience, a few services that will really help you maximize your clientele, new patients, with a minimal investment. And that's what the core focus of mine on. These resources I use are designed to help you generate patients with the most minimal amount of investment involved. Okay? So, the first part of my core focus is on-site SEO. And let me make clear, the four, just so you're familiar, on-site SEO, off-site SEO, reputation management, and social media. So those are my core focus. Now, the on-site SEO. I'll start there. SEO always starts with making sure your website is formatted correctly. Again, if it can't be indexed well, you're not going to be visible in the searches. So and there's a number of areas, and this has to do with the coding, the formatting, making sure all of the site is structured properly so it can be indexed, maximize the index. Now, the on-site SEO, I start with the XML sitemaps. That is a blueprint of your site. It basically is a map of your site that will tell the web crawlers and robots what's on your site. So they can see what pages, where the content's at, and they can go through and index. Secondly, robot text. It is a text file that will tell the crawlers how to index your site. Again, very simple, but still must be present on any effective site. Thirdly, redirects. Redirects really come into play when you're changing websites. So I don't do a ton with redirects, but when you're transitioning from one site to another, you want to make sure you take all of those links, all the link juice, the power that you've built on these pages, and you want to make sure you redirect that to significant pages on your new site. So I always make sure you want to cut down on the 404 errors, no not found errors. You want to make sure it's redirected to significant pages where it's going to be relevant. So that's important. Fourthly, title tags. Title tags are incredibly important. In fact, I find with many sites, I can change the title tags and jump your rankings up instantly. So it's a very, very important factor. Those are the page titles that the web crawlers will read on each page. And basically you want to target the keywords that you want to be found for. So if you're targeting Brooklyn Dentist, you want to make sure your title tag says Brooklyn Dentist. And so it's very important to have that structured properly so you can be found for the keywords that you're targeting on your site. Fifthly, meta descriptions. Meta descriptions, if you look at the indexing through Google, you will see a title tag, a URL, and then you will see a meta description under your URL. That's like it's a short phrase. The idea with the meta description is you want it to be catchy. You want it to be a call to action. So people will click through and go to your listing. So the idea is to use your keywords in a catchy way where you encourage patients to click through to your site. Next we have the alt tags. Alt tags are the tags associated with photos. You want to make sure, remember, robots cannot read photos, so you need to have text associated with keywords. So you describe each photo with descriptive keywords to help you get better indexing. So very, very important. URL formatting, you want to make sure all of your permalinks, your URLs, are streamlined, so not too long, and you want them to have the keywords that you're targeting. So obviously I make sure that's formatted correctly. Mobile compatibility, that's a big one these days. iPads, iPhones, Androids, tablets, you name it, there's all kinds of devices. You want to make sure your site preferably is responsive, which is what I try to format for you. If not, you want to make sure it's at least mobile friendly. So you want to make sure it's set up in a way where it's going to load quickly on all devices. Very important. Load speed leads to my next point. You want to make sure the sites load quickly. If a site does not load quickly, you will lose. People are busy. They don't want to spend two hours getting on a site. So if it doesn't load quickly, you might lose them. Secondly, it's a ranking factor. If sites load slower, it can hurt your ranking. So I make sure we compress images, cache plugins, a good host, and so on. Broken links, so on. There's a lot of factors I look at. So next, duplicate content. You want to make sure if you're using stock content, which many of you are with these dental website providers, want to make sure you customize that and you tailor that. And that's one of the benefits with me. I tailor all the content. It's going to be unique to you. You don't want duplicate content. That will hurt you in the search engines. Finally, internal linking. Internal linking is links between pages on your site. The idea is to take a lot of that juice, the SEO juice and power and the authority of that homepage, and spread it to your inner pages, implants, Invisalign, whatever you're trying to rank for. You want to make sure you do it in a very user-friendly way, so you don't want it to be spammy or look over the top. On the flip side, you want it to be, the user experience to be very effective. So let's talk about the second core focus of my web marketing solution, off-site SEO. And this has to do with optimization techniques off of your website, just as the word indicates. I started with blog promotion. And when you look at blogs, most of you today know what blogs are. They're obviously ongoing, almost like a magazine that you create online that's with interesting articles, videos, content that's going to really engage patients and educate them about your services. And so what I do is I create interesting, patient-engaging blogs. And by doing this, I create a blog article every single month for my clients. Minimum of 750 words, all kinds of interesting infographics, videos, statistics, articles. The idea is to really engage patients. And the blog serves two purposes. First of all, it'll drive traffic to your website. Gets indexed, drives more traffic. The second thing it does is it helps you improve your domain authority. Because when Google sees you blogging over and over and over again, it starts to see you as a more relevant source of information. And in doing that, it builds your authority with Google, and it certainly helps with your indexing and your rankings. So very, very important part of SEO. Second thing is citations. Most of you may know that word. This has to do with your online listings. Citations are the way your practice is listed anywhere on the internet, from business listings, Google and Health Grades and Yelp to directories, super pages, yellow book, yellow pages, city search. You want to make sure you're listed everywhere, consistent and accurately. It's very, very important for two reasons. Number one, the more places you're listed, the more traffic you get. You know, more exposure, more chance of getting patients. Secondly, you want to make sure when you're listed somewhere, those listings feed data to Google. Well, Google's sitting there, and if they're seeing different signals, they're not going to view you as a very reliable business. So what I mean by that, if your business is Johnson Dental, every practice should say Johnson Dental. It can't have Samuel Johnson one place and Johnson Dental another. It has to be consistent, has to be accurate. So very, very important. That factor in particular is a major map ranking factor. So doctors always ask me, how do I get into Google Maps? Get your citations listed and get them listed accurately. Third thing is link building. Link building, going back in time, this is one of the one factor through the last 2 decades that has not changed. You want to build links to your website from highly authoritative sites. And the more you get, the better indexing you tend to get. It's like votes. The more votes you get, one with the highest vote count wins. So my idea, what I do, I build links on a monthly basis to your site and continue to build your domain authority. And as your domain authority goes up, your rankings go up. So it's very, very important. How do I do it? Guest blog post, broken link building, blog commenting, forum commenting. So I use a ton of techniques, so directories, listings. The point is, I build links and I build highly impactful links. And in doing that, it drives your traffic and improves your rankings. So very important. Third element of the SEO program, reputation management. Perhaps the most important. I can't tell you how many times, I see somebody with great visibility, but they don't have the reviews. And let me tell you, I can drive 10,000 people to your website, but if you don't have the high quality reviews associated with your practice, with your name, it will not result in patients. So that's why it's so critical. They say that 65% of patients use reviews as the #1 criteria in evaluating which dentist they're going to use. So remember, you don't have to look perfect. You're not competing against Michael Phelps here, but you are competing against your competition in your market. So you have to make sure that you look superior to your local competitors. It's a very, very important part. Now, how do we do this? I use a software, I use a review funnel. And with the review funnel, what it does is it's like a widget landing page where they'll land on this funnel I've created, and it'll give them 5 stars. So if they rank you 4 or 5 stars, I will prompt them to go to Google or Healthgrades or Yelp. And again, I do customized research. We look at which sites we need reviews for your situation, and I funnel them to that. Unlike these big companies, the Lighthouse 360, the Bird's Eye, again, this is very customized. So I will be doing research and then funneling your traffic to the sites that are going to impact your situation the most, which is very important. Now, I know a second part of this is, what if you have a bad review? If it's 3 stars or lower, my funnel will send them a recovery form. So it will not prompt them to go anywhere where they can post a public review. Instead, it'll send them a recovery form. They can fill it out. It comes back to your office. You can address it internally, but it will not affect your online reputation. Very, very important to understand. So the idea here, we showcase your positive reviews. We make sure we filter out the negatives so you can address them internally. And in doing that, it's a great recipe. How do you get the reviewers? Different techniques. I invite them through email, through text, through print invites. I have widgets, on your email signatures, on your website. So there's different ways I get them to the funnel. And again, we determine how aggressive we are depending on what you need. What your competitors have. I tailor it to make sure we dominate your market. So it's a very, very important part of how we do it. Now also you get alerts. If there are negative emails, you get email alerts. I get email alerts so we can address it. And you get reports each month. So you know how you're doing, where you're getting posted, and so on. So again, it's a very, very effective, very, very important part. Okay, the fourth and final component of my web marketing solution, social media. Probably the most misunderstood part of marketing today. Certainly, it started out as kind of a gimmick many years ago. Now is a very vital element of marketing, something you really can't neglect. And why? People ask, why is it so important? There's a couple reasons. Number one, with social media, first thing to understand about social media is dentists ask what their best type of patient is, and you ask a dentist, and he's going to say word-of-mouth referrals. And so how do you get more word-of-mouth referrals? you build your social network. It's a sure recipe for success. And how do you build your social network? Now, what I do, there's different techniques, but what I do is I create these social media accounts or manage your existing ones, and I build interesting, relevant, engaging content on these sites so that on a weekly basis, and turn it basically into an online magazine. And so in doing this, it's going to allow me to create a very engaging, account of yours that your patients can like and follow. And in doing that, every time I post content and they like it, all their friends see it. Friends at church, friends at work, friends in their neighborhood, friends on their kids' soccer team. The bottom line is, though, every time I do that, you reach out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people in your local community. And these are friends of your friends, so they trust their friends. And when they see that they're using Dr. Johnson, it's a great chance for you to really, communicate your brand, to spread your brand, to let people know about your practice. And it's very cost effective. And you look at it compared to ads and direct mail and Google AdWords, I mean, it's a fraction of the cost. So again, when you look at it, that's very important. Secondly, it's also very important because it's social signals, and social signals are a ranking factor these days. So when Google sees sites that have lots of likes, lots of followers, lots of posts, lots of engagement, they tend to rank them higher. And so when you look at those people at the top of your, Brooklyn or Manhattan or, Miami or Chicago, most of the people in these markets have lots of social media activity. They have lots of social signals. And by doing that, it helps you it's a better signal to Google that you're a popular, credible business. When they see activity on those accounts, it makes it seem like you're a more relevant, credible source of information. And they want to rank those sites highly. So very, very important. Now, of the social media, what do I focus on? I focus on Facebook, Google+, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. So the first 4 of those accounts are really the core focus of my social media program. And again, it's a case-by-case basis. One of the advantages of working with me, as I mentioned, it's boutique, it's customized. So I don't have a generic recipe. I'm going to suggest the social media accounts that are going to help you dominate your market. Obviously somebody in Manhattan is going to need, more social media, more aggressive strategy than somebody in a farm town. So what I do is I look at your situation, what your competitors have, and what you have, and then we make sure we tailor it so that you can dominate your competition and dominate your target market. And that's the idea here. Now with Google, with Facebook, when you look at Facebook, I think that says, that's the largest social media account in the world. There's millions of users on Facebook. So obviously you want to build Facebook. Again, I brand it. I write engaging posts. The idea is to build it and get more likes and more followers and ultimately more patients. Now secondly, Google+. Google+, a big ranking factor. So in the maps, a big ranking factor in the maps, the Google Maps, the 3-pack that everybody wants to be on. That's one, I talked about citations earlier. Another big factor is Google+ is making sure that you have posts and activity. So what I do is I create engaging posts, put it on Google+, want to make sure we build your activity on that account to help with your map ranking. Also YouTube. YouTube, for those of you who don't know, it's owned by Google. It's the second biggest search engine in the world. So it is something you don't want to neglect. So we typically will set up a YouTube channel. We either create YouTube videos if you don't have them, or we use ones that you have, and again, build powerful backlinks. Make sure that we set up a channel of authority on your YouTube channel so that you can get better indexing. And let me tell you, Google loves YouTube. Not only for ranking, but for patient engagement. It helps reduce your bounce rate. So again, there's a lot of advantages to using YouTube. Then you have LinkedIn. LinkedIn is something we set up a profile, make sure it's professional. The main thing is not to neglect it. It's not a major factor. On the flip side, you don't want it. It's not something you want to be absent from. You want to make sure you at least have a profile on there, so that when referring doctors, people look you up, they can. And then finally, you have the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Pinterest. Those are kind of supplementary ones. Sometimes I will use them. If you have one, I usually will take them over. If you don't have one and you need one, and you're in a very competitive market, sometimes we'll recommend those on a case-by-case basis. But again, when you look at the whole picture, social media, very, very important. So now you have it. Hopefully this was productive for you. If you're a dentist or dental professional out there today, and you've been neglecting your web marketing, or maybe you're just struggling to find that right solution, I encourage you to give me a call. My consultations are free. You can reach me directly anytime, 951-696-7550. If you prefer, you're welcome to email me. Email scott@webdgs.com. That's Dental Growth Solutions, webdgs.com. Thanks again, and I hope to speak with you soon.